They say there's a road no god will walk. But I remember when gods once danced beneath my boughs, when I was worshipped, when the wind itself bowed at my knee. Now the forest is my tomb, my breath tangled in moss, my heart buried beneath roots older than memory. Still I wake when he comes, a man of mortal flesh, carrying steel that gleams too bright for his courage. He does not believe in me, nor in curses, nor in gods. He stands before the old path, the crust road, the one that bleeds shadows instead of dust, and laughs. It's a child's story, he says to the crone who warned him. The old woman's voice trembles like the last leaf of autumn. Child, even the gods dare not go down that road. It leads to death and damnation. You cannot save this village by dying with it. He smiles, a soft cruelty born of youth. Then I will prove the gods are liars. Foolish child, brave child, my child. I whisper through the branches, a mother's sigh woven in the rustle of leaves. He does not hear. None ever do. He steps forward. The road opens for him as it has waited since the curse was first spoken. 10 paces, 20 his boots crush the silence that even gods fear to disturb. See? He calls back. A child's fairy tale. And then, as always, the forest shifts. The air thickens like breath behind glass. The trees part in reverence or hunger. A clearing blooms where none existed moments before, bathed in a sickly amber glow. 2 young women sit upon a blanket of crimson leaves. They smile as if they've known him all his life. He pauses. I feel the tremor in his heart. Desire sweet, mortal, foolish stirs like sap in spring. The first test begins. Lust. The sin that devours softly. The whisper that undid empires. I cannot warn him. My voice is bound to roots and stone. But still I watch, aching with both pride and dread. Every step he takes along this cursed road, he comes closer to truth, closer to me. He thinks he walks toward legend. He walks toward his mother's curse. He walks toward himself. The clearing breathes like a living thing. Sunlight spills through the canopy, yet it feels false. A light without warmth, gilding rot and ruin beneath its golden skin. 2 women sit upon a blanket woven of leaves and silken shadow. They are beautiful in that ancient, terrible way beauty can be. The kind that remembers when the world was young and gods still desired. One's hair is the color of ripe wheat, her eyes a tranquil blue that promises peace after long sorrow. The other's is dark as raven's wings, her gaze heavy, knowing and kind. To kind they smile at him. Traveler, says the fair one, her voice like spring water over smooth stone. You've walked far. Rest, if only for a while. The road is long, whispers the dark one, and cruel. Stay, let the forest forget your burdens. He hesitates. His sword hand slackens. I feel his heart. The beat quickens, foolish and mortal, caught between pulse and reason. His breath trembles, though he will deny it even to himself. I want to cry out to tell him these are no women, but hunger is given shape. I birthed such things long ago, before the gods turned from me. My children, my mistakes, they feed not on flesh, but on will. But my voice cannot cross the veil of this curse. So I watch as he kneels. You're not real, he says, a half laugh that sounds too much like fear. Just the forest playing tricks. And if we are? The fair one murmurs, touching his cheek with a hand soft as moth wings. What harm in a dream that loves you? The other leans closer, her breath like warm dusk. Rest, just for a moment. The road will wait. His eyes flutter. The world blurs. The air hums with the low, sweet drone of surrender. Around them, the forest stills. Even the birds fall silent. Then, the iron edge of his will cuts through the illusion. He draws his blade, its ring sharp as truth. No dream loves that easily, he says. The women's smiles crack. Their flesh ripples, beauty dissolving into sinew and shadow. Their laughter turns to shrieks. Roots burst from the soil, black and wet, twisting like serpents to drag him down. He strikes wildly, steel singing against the dark. For a heartbeat, he disappears beneath them. I ache, helpless. The forest groans of me. Then the light changes as blade flashes once, twice, and the illusion shatters. The women collapse into ash, the blanket of leaves curling in on itself like burned parchment. Silence again. He stands there, trembling, eyes wide, chest heaving. A trick, he whispers. Just a trick. But in his blood, something ancient stirs. A faint echo of me. He cannot name it, yet he feels it, the pulse of the divine, beating beneath the skin of his disbelief. I whisper through the trees, though he cannot hear, "Well done, my son." But the road does not forgive victory. Each sin you conquer will only remember you more. The wind carries the scent of ash and lily. The path stretches ahead, darker now, narrower. The forest is awake, and the road hungers for its next test. The forest sleeps uneasily after the first blood. Shadows ripple like breath beneath the roots, and the road curves upon itself, folding him deeper into my heart. He walks for hours, though time here has long since lost its meaning. The air grows thick with the scent of honey and roast meat. His stomach, empty from battle, betrays him with a low growl. I feel it, that mortal need, that ache of hunger, both innocent and damning. The gods once mocked mortals for their frailty, yet it was the gods who devoured the world to feed their pride. And thus begins the second sin, gluttony, the hunger that swallows all hungers. The road widens into a courtyard that should not exist. Lanterns hang from the trees, glowing with fat, lazy light. Tables stretch as far as sight allows, groaning with bread still steaming, fruits swollen and perfect. Meat glistening with sweet decay, a long table waits at the center. He stops at its edge, wary. "A feast," he mutters, half mocking, half in awe. "Am I to dine with ghosts now?" The forest answers only with the sound of dripping. Then, as before, voices soft and eager rise around him. Figures take shape in the flicker of candlelight. The villagers he once knew, laughing, calling his name, faces bright and warm as memory. "Eat," they say, "you've earned it. You've survived the first trial. Sit with us, hero." Hero. That word coils in his chest like heat. I remember the last who sat at that table. He too was brave, and he too thought the feast a reward. He is part of the roots now, whispering forever of fullness that never ends. My son hesitates, hunger gnawing. His throat tightens. The smell of the bread alone is almost holy. He takes a step forward, another. No. My will strains against the curse, and for a moment the wind turns sharp. A candle sputters, blackens. He pauses. The villager's eyes glimmer too bright, like wet coins at the bottom of a well. "You look pale," one murmurs. "Eat before the road eats you. Just a taste," another insists. "One bite. You deserve it." He stares at them, and at last sees the truth. The table is not laden with bread, but bodies. Faces he knew, twisted in mock joy, mouths filled with rotten soil. The scent of meat becomes blood. The sweet wine turns to something thick, black, and buzzing. He stumbles back, gagging. His sword slips from his hand. The laughter grows shrill, splitting into a dozen inhuman tones. Hungry still. They whisper. He seizes the sword again, drives it through the table. The feast erupts, shadows scatter. Lanterns burst, and the air fills with the wailing of the damned. When silence returns, the tables are gone. Only the road remains, narrow and cruel, lined with thorns that drip like open wounds. He drops to his knees, panting. "Why?" he murmurs. "Why show me these things?" I cannot answer. My roots tremble beneath him, and I weep sap into the soil. He rises again, each step heavier. The light in him flickers, dimmer than before, but burning still. He is learning what gods fear to remember. For the road is not punishment, it is memory. And the memory is mine. The road curls inward like a serpent biting its tail. Night falls, though the moon hides its face. He sleeps beside the path, sword across his chest, armor stained with the dust of illusions. I watch from the roots beneath him. His dreams tremble against me, half mortal, half divine. In them he sees my shape without knowing it, omen of branches and light, eyes filled with endless green. He calls me mother, though he does not understand the word. When he wakes, the forest is silent, watching. His hunger is gone, replaced by a new thirst, the need to own what he does not yet understand. The road opens into a ravine of stone and gold. The trees withdraw, their trunks gleaming like pillars in some long-forgotten temple. At the heart of the ravine stands a doorway of pure light. Within, a vault filled with relic swords that hum with divine breath, crowns that whisper, chalices that spill light instead of wine. He steps closer, and the air thickens with memory. I feel the pulse of the old gods in those treasures. They are remnants of the ones who cursed me as father among them. A gift? He asks the darkness, or another trick? The vault answers with music, soft and honey-sweet. Every blade calls his name. Every gem reflects his face crowned in flame. Greed. The third sin. The most polite of hungers, the one that speaks and promises. He reaches for a blade wrought of light and shadow. Its surface stirs with runes that know his blood. Take it. A voice murmurs from the gold. You deserve more than mortal flesh. You've walked the road. You have earned the right to rule. He grips the hilt. Power floods his arm, bright and blinding. For an instant I feel it too, the surge of our shared divinity, and terror burns through my roots. The vault trembles. The treasures begin to bleed. Every cup spills darkness. Every gem cracks like bone. The sword in his hand screams, 1,000 voices of the fallen. He drops it, stumbling back. The gold melts away, leaving only stone, bare and cold. The light dies. He stands there, staring at his empty hands. There is no gift here, he says quietly. Only mirrors, I whisper through the ash of the vanished treasure. Greed always shows what we might have been. He walks on, slower now, the arrogance of disbelief beginning to crack. The forest closes behind him, sealing the vault forever. In the distance, thunder rolls. The next sin stirs Sloth, the gentlest death of all, and I fear that one most of all. For rest was the sin that bound even the gods to their graves. The thunder fades to a low, steady hum. Rain begins, fine as dust, washing the scent of gold from the air. The road softens beneath his feet, turning from stone to earth, from earth to moss. He has not eaten, nor spoken, nor dreamed for what feels like days. Weariness coils around him like ivy, whispering, rest now. Just a moment. Sloth, the sweetest sin. The silence that waits behind every struggle. The forest opens into a meadow bathed in silver mist. A single tree stands at its center, wide as a house, its roots drinking from a pool that glows faintly green. Beneath it lies a bed of soft grass, pillows of fern. The air itself hums a lullaby older than stars. He stops. His armor feels heavier than his body. His eyelids droop. What harm? He murmurs, in a breath of peace. My heart clenches. For this is the sin that took my kin first the refusal to rise, the comfort of stillness. The gods did not fall in battle. They drifted into sleep and called it eternity. He kneels beside the tree. The pool's surface mirrors him not as he is, but as he was, a child laughing, unscarred by the road. Stay, the reflection whispers. You've walked far enough. Sleep, and I will dream for you. He touches the water. It is warm, eternal, my warmth. For a breath, I am with him, almost whole again. Then I force the memory away. The pool shivers. The reflection turns hollow-eyed. Roots coil around his legs, gentle as blankets, ready to draw him under. No, he rasps. Not yet. With sudden fury, he drives his sword into the earth. Light bursts through the moss, and the dream unravels. The meadow collapses into shadow. The pool dries, leaving only cracked soil and silence. He falls to his knees, panting, mud streaking his face. His hand brushes something cold half buried in the dirt. A golden ring, simple, unadorned, etched inside with a single line of script worn thin by time. He turns it in his fingers. It hums softly, the same note that has haunted his dreams. My note, my ring. the circle that bound my power to this forest when the gods cursed me. He does not yet know what he holds, only that it feels right. He slips it onto his finger. The forest exhales. For the first time in ages, I feel him clearly, his heartbeat echoing through root and leaf. "Mother," he whispers without understanding why. And though the curse forbids words, I answer in the only way I can. The rain softens, the wind turns warm, and every branch bends toward him in quiet prayer. He rises, steadier than before. The road calls again, darker, narrower, curling now toward wrath. But the ring glows faintly at his hand, a promise that I am still here, and that the forest has not yet abandoned its son. The ring hums against his skin. A faint pulse at first, like the heartbeat of something sleeping beneath the earth. Then light golden, trembling, alive spills between his fingers. He stares, breath caught in his throat. The glow grows, curling upward into a swirl of petals and mist. From the light, a woman takes shape woven of flowers and ivy, her hair a pale gold that drinks the moonlight. She stands barefoot upon the road, her eyes deep as the forest's oldest wells. He knows her. Though he cannot name her, his soul leans toward that face like a flower seeking the sun. "Who are you?" he whispers. Her lips move. Words bloom soundlessly, like wind through distant leaves. He cannot understand them, but the ache in his chest tells him they are meant for him alone. Then the light shatters. The vision fades, leaving only the forest's breath and the faint warmth of the ring. "A dream," he mutters, though he no longer believes his own words. The forest stirs uneasily. I feel him now, really feeling my power echoing in his blood. The curse trembles. The road senses its end and grows angry. And so the next sin rises, wrath. The path twists upward into cliffs of black stone. Storm clouds gather, lightning crawling like veins across the sky. From the fog below, shapes begin to climb shadows in armor, wielding blades of bone and ash. They bear his face. Every rage he has swallowed, every fury he denied, give him body. They rush him. He fights, roaring, sword blazing with desperate light. For every shade he cuts down, another takes its place. They do not bleed, they scream, and their screams are his. I feel his pain strike through me, each wound a pulse in my roots. He is burning himself alive on his own anger. "Enough!" he cries, swinging wildly, lightning answering his voice. The ring flares again. The vision returns, the woman of flowers standing between him and the storm. Her hands reach toward him, and though he cannot hear her words, they quiet the thunder. He falls to his knees, gasping. The shades dissolve like mist in sunlight. For a heartbeat, the forest is still. Then he speaks softly, afraid of his own voice. You're real." The wind stirs the leaves in answer, whispering a name he almost catches. Almost. He looks at the ring. It no longer glows, but its warmth lingers, a heartbeat that is not his own. I watch him, my son, and for the first time since the curse began, I allow myself to hope. But hope is dangerous here. For every light the ring kindles, the road grows darker to snuff it out. Dawn comes reluctantly. The light does not rise so much as creep, pale and sickly, through a sky the color of bruised bone. The ring lies quiet now, its glow smothered, its warmth faint. Yet the boy my son touches it often, as though fearing it might fade completely if forgotten. He walks in silence. His steps are slower, heavier, each one weighed by the knowledge that something greater stirs within him, something both beautiful and terrifying. The road bends once more, and a new sound greets him. Laughter. Not cruel. Familiar. He stops. The forest ahead clears into a mirror pool, calm as glass. The surface reflects not sky or leaf, but faces people he once knew, laughing and happy, untouched by curse or fear. And among them me. I appear as I once was, radiant, whole, crowned with ivy and light, the gold ring still upon my finger. The forest thrives around me. The gods stand beside me, his father among them, tall, terrible, perfect. The man on the road stares, his jaw tightens. You're with them, he whispers, the ones who cursed you. Who cursed all this? The reflection smiles, my reflection. But the eyes are wrong cold, glass bright, envy, the sin that poisons love until only bitterness remains. They loved you, he says, voice cracking. And you loved them, not me. Not this world. He clenches his fist, the ring digging into his skin. The water trembles and the reflections whisper, overlapping. You were never meant to be a god's son. You are nothing but her shadow. She gave them everything. I reach through the roots, through the curse, trying to still the pool, but envy is a cruel listener. It bends even my will. The reflection of me steps closer to the surface. She raises a hand, golden and graceful, and touches his cheek through the water. Would you take their place, child? She asks softly. Would you become what they were? His anger flares. I would undo them. The pool explodes. Water and light shatter upward like wings of glass. The laughter twists into screams, the vision fracturing into hundreds of faces, each his own. He stands trembling, drenched, the road once more empty. The air stinks of ozone and sorrow. The ring burns hot on his finger, then fades to a dull throb. I whisper through the branches. Envy always ends with a mirror, my son. Look too long and you see only yourself. He falls to his knees beside the broken pool. For a long while he does not move. When he rises, his eyes are different, harder, older. The disbelief that once guarded him is gone. He believes now, and that belief is a wound the road will not forgive. Beyond the shattered mirror, the air ripples crimson. The scent of smoke and blood seeps through the trees. The next sin waits pride, the crown of all the others. And I, bound within the roots, can only watch as my son walks toward the fall that even gods could not escape. The forest climbs into mountains now, all stone and wind. The road is little more than a scar across the black rock, narrow and cold. He walks alone, wrapped in silence. Every sin behind him whispers still, but softer now, like echoes fading into dream. Then the sky opens, no storm, no sun, only a white void without depth or end. At its heart stands a throne carved from the same stone as the mountain. Upon it lies a crown, iron, sharp, glimmering with the blood of gods. He stares at it, and for the first time there is no fear. Pride, the sin that built heaven and burned it down. Is this what you wanted from me? He calls into the emptiness. To prove I am nothing, or to prove I am everything? The crown hums, answering in the voice of the wind. Take me. Rule what is left. The road is yours. His hand trembles, yet he reaches. The iron touches his brow, and the ring flares. A surge of gold floods the gray. Flowers burst through the cracks of stone violets, lily, ivy climbing over the throne. The air fills with scent and song. Deer step from the mist, eyes bright, blocking his path. He lowers his hand. The crown falls and shatters. The light grows, and from it she comes. The woman of flowers and ivy. Her hair is sunlight caught in leaves, her dress woven of petals and vine. The air bends around her like the breath of spring. For a moment he cannot move. Every battle, every wound, every doubt collapses into a single heartbeat. She speaks, this time the words do not fade. The forest itself carries them. Can you hear me now, my son? He nods, voice breaking. I can. She steps closer, her hand rising to his cheek. The touch is warm, alive. I am the forest mother. The voice that whispered when you were alone. The god the others tried to silence. You are of me and of him, the one who cursed this place. His fire, my root. Flesh of both. He stares, tears cutting through the grime on his face. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would not have listened until you walked the road. The ring burns like sunlight. Vines spiral from the ground, wrapping his arms, blooming where they touch. The air trembles with power. This is yours, she says softly. The gift they feared. The life that binds and heals. The wrath that grows instead of destroys. She smiles a mother's smile, infinite and gentle. I love you, my son. The world tilts. The road dissolves into 1,000 roots of light. His eyes blaze with gold. His voice shakes the trees. Then I will make the forest whole again. The ring's glow spreads from him, racing through soil and sky. The dead trees bud. The cursed road cracks and flowers pour from its wounds. The air tastes clean for the first time in an age. I feel my chains break. I breathe. The boy the god stands amid the bloom, the crown of thorns fallen at his feet. The road is gone, only forest remains. And though I am free, I know this. Freedom is never gentle. Every god who wakes must learn what it costs to keep the world alive. But for now, I watch him smile, and I let the wind carry my last whisper. Grow, my child, grow. The light recedes. The storm quiets to a hush so deep that even memory holds its breath. When he opens his eyes, the mountain is gone. The road lies again before him, though now it winds downward, green and breathing. Every step he takes spills new life into the earth, flowers from his footprints, birds from the shadow of his hand. He follows the path until it widens into the place he once called home. The village still stands crooked roofs, shattered wells, faces pale as dust. Yet something in them shifts as he walks among them. The air itself bows. They see him and know him without knowing why. Another traveler, one whispers. No, a ghost. A god, says another, trembling. He stops before the old woman who first warned him. Her eyes glimmer like wet coal. You went down the road, she says softly. And the road came back with you. He kneels, takes her frail hand. The curse can end, if you will it. If you remember what mercy feels like, she shakes her head. I forgot mercy long ago. The ring gleams. Its light pours over her, and the years fall away from her face like ash. She gasps, half in joy, half in terror. All around them, the villagers cry out, some in repentance, some in rage, as vines rise through the cobblestones, flowering where the soil once wept blood. The forest mother's voice, my voice, threads through him now, not command, not plea, only memory. They were my children, too. Do not destroy what can still grow. He stands, torn between fire and root. The god in him thirsts for judgment. The man in him aches for peace. Choose, I whisper. He closes his eyes. When he speaks, his voice is both thunder and rain. Then live, but live with the knowing. Let the forest judge you each dawn. Let your sins feed its roots until it forgives. The light flares once more. The village breathes. Houses turn to moss-covered sanctuaries, fields to wild meadows. The people fall to their knees, not in worship, but in awe. He watches them a long while, then turns toward the forest. What will you do now? I ask, my voice carried on the leaves. He looks back once, eyes calm, gold fading to human warmth. Keep walking, he says. Keep tending what we've mended. The forest opens for him, branches parting like curtains of light. And so the road no god would walk becomes a garden once more. The curse sleeps, the gods are silent, and I free at last watch my son disappear into the green, the hum of the ring fading with his steps. Somewhere ahead the wind begins a new song. The road of 7 shadows is ended, but the forest remembers. It always will. Seasons bled into centuries. The forest grew tall again, its roots thick with the bones of forgotten gods. The village changed, crumbling into moss-covered stone, then rising once more as people returned to live beneath the trees. They still tell stories at night when the mists roll in, stories of a man who walked the Forbidden Road and never died. In the oldest version, he is a wanderer crowned with ivy, carrying a sword that blooms instead of bleeds. They say he walks the borders of fields, unseen, turning the soil rich where despair once lingered. In another, he is the god of the road, half light, half shadow, who judges those who stray too far from mercy. The lost travelers who vanish in the forest are said to have been found by him, tested, not slain. Children leave flowers on the old stones at the forest's edge. The petals never wilt. Deer still gather there at dusk. And if the wind is right, a voice sometimes drifts through the branches, a woman's voice, low and soft. Walk kindly. The road watches. The villagers listen and bow their heads. They do not know that the forest they fear and the god they pray to are mother and son, bound together in life and death, soil and breath. But I know. I feel his footsteps wherever new roots break the earth. He no longer needs the ring. Its circle is the world itself now. The gods that cursed me are long dust. Only we remain. The forest and the one who walked the road no god would walk. And when the stars turn green again, I will whisper his name into the leaves. So the world will never forget. He who walked the road of 7 shadows and made it bloom.
In the hush where the gods won't tread lies a road of dust and dread. Stones remember every cry, roots remember how gods die. Walk softly, child of breath and bone. The road is watching, not alone. Where 7 shadows test the heart, the forest mends what fell apart. First came lust with a lover's smile, then Gluttony's feast to beguile, greed's bright vault and Sloth's sweet sleep.